though the Sun has already moved into Taurus, sign of perseverance, stabilization, and laconic indulgence, all of the personal planets are still constellating in the sign of Aries. Aries energy is individualistic and fierce, very much concerned with one's own desires. However, for many of us who are emotionally wounded, which pretty much translates to the majority of Americans, the tending to one's needs does not come easily, with negation of self and or codependence being the norm. And this doesn't mean there aren't narcissists galore, but they still require an audience to partner or dance with. Aries is not about stepping in line with anyone else's demands, and now that Mercury has turned direct, we will be more decisive and vocal about what works for us or doesn't, and hopefully we will have no qualms about walking away from unhealthy situations. And even if we err on the side of selfishness, that is actually a very natural expression of the Aryan energy. This burst of individuation may be a shock or welcome respite from fixation on relationships. If you're a recovering codependent or caretaker, you may find a quickening in your step and a clear desire to cut ties with the past. Those still stuck in rewind will not have the skills to maneuver the onrushing 2012 Uranus-Pluto square, where quite honestly, nothing will ever thankfully be the same. We cannot afford to remain infantilized and emotionally disabled, as world events will require courage, stamina, and a strong sense of purpose. The will is associated with Aries, and the development of right, determined action is imperative in the months and years ahead. The counterpoint to Aries is Libra and co-equal relationship, and here again, we are rarely schooled in the art of mature cooperation and exchange. Much of the difficult energies we experienced during the Cardinal Cross traffic jam lasting from November 2009 through August 2010, when Saturn squared Pluto, revolved around getting clear on how we conflate ourselves in relationship scenarios. And certainly we see this played out in intimate situations, but similar dysfunctional behaviors can be observed in friendships, work scenarios, and in the original source matrix of the family material. As with all energies and archetypes, there is a healthy version and an unhealthy one. Suffice it to say, the unhealthy form brings with it a lot of pain. We usually only notice this when the learned script of how to be with another doesn't bring us the satisfaction or fulfillment that we desire. Hopefully, getting back to last year's head crash to the wall of relational patterning, you realized you could not continue in the vein you had been unconsciously living. The fallout then, particularly evident last August, most likely set in motion a new search for a different relationship templating. Even if you are still working through the leaving, because for the most part that is what was going on if you saw the light, you will find that your efforts may have been stymied by Saturn's retrograding in January of this year and Uranus stuck in the last degree of Pisces, which might have kept us trapped in self-sacrifice and victimhood. Once Saturn, the planet of commitment and responsibility, moves into direct motion in June, we may begin to build a new type of relationship model. For many of us, this may include the desire to remain single and autonomous. It can be argued that until we work through our inner male-female issues, we will not attract a healthy partner. So if you are feeling a sense of independence, or you gotta be kidding when it comes to another dating site or hookup opportunity, that is quite possibly the most liberating response to the Aryan and Uranian vibe. From the perspective of projection, it's only when you are not broadcasting lack, but rather a sense of fullness, that you will find the perfect counterpart to your real self. A very mundane experience of how the old relationship scenario no longer worked may have come up during last month's Aries-Libra full moon on April 17th. Once again, astrological cycles continue to return us to the scene of the crime. And so there is a good chance that the drama that exploded had a resonance to a relationship story from 1983-84. And even if you were not old enough to have been in a relationship per se, you most likely had a front row seat to the mom-dad tragicomedy enacted at the time. And it most likely imprinted you with a certain energetic around how to be with a person of the opposite sex. This is as true for homosexual couples as hetero ones, by the way, because in every relationship, one person is more male and the other female, regardless of sexual orientation. The challenge right now with the Aries-Libra polarity is to learn how to balance self-expression with co-empowerment. Co-empowerment means two adults meet and come together, but retain their own respective centers. Co-empowerment means healthy responsiveness to situations with personal boundaries in place. Co-empowerment means supporting the unique needs of each individual without the distortion of false equivalencies. And when we interact with another and exchange energy, it is not necessarily like for like, but rather to dance and play at an equal vibrational level. Saturn in Libra, when expressed in a conscious way, allows the full flowering of an adult, committed relationship that supports the soul growth of both individuals. So before we sink into the more solid, slower, stabilizing energy of Taurus mid-month, allow the Aryan archetype to courageously cut the cord and start anew with your life, your love, and your quest for authenticity. You and your rightful partner will be happy you did. Please join us next time as we explore the Taurus archetype and note how our values support or distort our soul's purpose. We love your input here at One World in Concert and look forward to hearing your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching.